Hello and welcome back to Sonny Talk Spurs, and today I'm going to be reacting and giving my opinion to everything that was said at the Tottenham Fan Forum. But before we get into this little bit of a deep dive, if you are new on Sonny Talk Spurs, why don't you like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be notified about every time I go live. Now, let's get into the video. So for the first time since 2017, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club hosted its Spurs Fan Forum, where obviously Tottenham Hotspur fans could put in questions to Chairman Daniel Levy. And also at the Tottenham Fan Forum was obviously manager Ange Postecoglou, captain of the men's team Heung-Min's son, manager of the women's team Robert Vilahamn, and captain of the women's team Bethany England. They all featured on the panel alongside Daniel Levy. And as I say, this was actually the first Tottenham Fans Forum since 2017, and obviously it was much different back then. You had Mauricio, Pochettino obviously at the helm, and Hugo Lloris was the captain. Obviously goes to show you how much of a storm it's been at the club in the last couple of years, and shows that, you know, Daniel Levy as chairman is finally comfortable to sit in front of fans and ask and answer those, you know, very important questions that are burning. You know, people really want to know what direction the club's going in, and luckily with a bit of the return of the vibe to the club with Ange Postecoglou, now was probably the right time to really get this done, especially before tough fixtures against Arsenal and Liverpool in the Premier League. But as I said at the top of the video, we are going to be talking through some of the key moments and points which were discussed at the Fan Forum. So to start, Daniel Levy was asked about the current situation at the club, including like the style of play and, as I mentioned, the vibe. So he said, "We've got our Tottenham back. We're seeing football we used to see. That's all we want. All staff at the club, playing, non-playing. We're in it together. There's a different atmosphere around the place." And I have to agree, you know, the atmosphere has changed a lot. You know, we've obviously had 2 home games against Sheffield United and Manchester United, and the atmosphere has been incredible. Gone are the days of, obviously, you know, Conte, Mourinho, Nuno, a lot of negative energy around the club. You know, I've said it in previous videos, I went to some games last year against West Ham, Arsenal. Patches of it were quite toxic. Obviously, there was a loss and a win with those games, but very toxic atmosphere. Lots of arguments amongst fans in the stadium. So he has a point, but I'd like to reiterate this, and I've said this many a time, and it's actually related to a point that I'm going to get onto after this. Daniel Levy, this was your fault. You know, this was the reason that the vibe had changed at the football club after the days of Mauricio Pochettino was down to you. Like, don't get me wrong, Pochettino, it was getting a bit stagnant. We needed a bit of a change, and you did change it up and put in the managers that you did, which at the time I agreed with. I thought, you know, it's worth a go. But, you know, not spending enough, not pushing on, you know, they're all down to you, and you haven't done that. And I just think you have to, and this is what I'm actually moving on to after this. He had to own up to this, which surprisingly he did. So Daniel Levy then went to talk about the past few years under his tenure. He said, "I want to win as much as everyone else. The frustration of not winning and the pressure from some players and a large part of the fan base impacted me. It was a lot of pressure." Obviously, we can't lie, you know, this whole social media, and fans do want to win a trophy. There is a big hoodoo, and I want to win a trophy. Of course, we want to see the club do well, and we got so close in certain moments. We're talking about Champions League title races, cup finals, and we just didn't get over the line. And it's a mixture of things as to why this hasn't happened. But then on to his next point, which is very, very interesting, and it is taking a bit of a countership for what he has done in the past. So he said, "We came so close with Poch, and we changed strategy, and we hired win-now managers. It didn't work, wrong hires. So maybe it will take longer. Maybe we need this strategy, and that's why I hired Ange." Obviously, you know, Ange has showed early on that, you know, he's a different manager. He's going to go down a different route. You know, attacking football is back. The sort of firm but fair mentality of management. Whereas we've seen with the likes of Mourinho, Conte, they froze certain players out and the vibe was just gone. And we tried to win. We obviously tried to win in an ugly way. But we were sacrificing a style for not much substance. And also, on the flip side though, Levy did sack Mourinho on the week leading up to the Carabao Cup final, which he could have had an amazing chance to beat Manchester City, his old foe, Pep Guardiola, but wasn't given the chance. We don't know how that would have, the result or the final would have played out, but he probably would have had more of a chance than Ryan Mason's first ever game in, management. So some of these quotes you do have to take with a pinch of salt, don't get me wrong. And with Daniel Levy, a lot of what he said here has not made me go, oh, you're changed. I've still got my suspicions. I'm not fully Levy out. I'm not fully Levy in. I'm very much on the fence, getting splinters. So then Daniel Levy went to talk about manager Ange Postecoglou, who was obviously there at the fan forum as well. And he said, he's just a normal bloke, direct and honest. He doesn't play games. I wonder who that's a dig to, out of interest. And then he said, he doesn't say one thing to me and another to someone else. And this club needed to go back to its roots. A lot of pressure on me, needed a manager to focus on the team, youth club, and be part of the team. He's a breath of fresh air. Not wrong, again, not wrong. He has praised Ange Postecoglou. We're all happy about how he started life at Tottenham, but obviously there are cheeky digs there to Conte and Mourinho. The way obviously Conte left the football club was in a blaze of glory, basically mouthing off about the whole club in that press conference against Southampton. So I'm not surprised with that cheeky dig. But my final point before I end this video and give my, outro and thoughts on this whole thing is about some interesting things he said about Harry Kane. So Levy revealed we have a buyback clause for Harry Kane. I'd like to say thank you to Harry for everything he's done for us. He's always welcome back. Harry's a much loved and valued member of the Spurs family and forever in our history. So that's very interesting. I wonder what the buyback clause is. Obviously it's not really been revealed as of yet, but the door is open for Harry to return when he's picked up those Bundesliga or potentially a Champions League this season. So I find that quite interesting. It has opened the door for a return maybe in a couple of years if he wants to beat that Premier League all-time top goal scorer record. But we don't know where we're going to be. He might stay a few more years at Bayern. He might not want to come back to Tottenham. He might want to go to a different route. We might not even be able to afford to buy him back. It depends how much the price is going to be. So quite interesting, but there was suspicions and rumours of a buyback clause when we were going to sell him in the first place, and people sort of laughed it off. But it's interesting that it's actually in place. So all in all, that is what some of the main things were said from the Tottenham fan forum. And as I've mentioned in the video so far, obviously, can't doubt Ange and Son, perfect spokespeople, perfect captain, perfect manager in this point in time. But, with some of the things that Levy has said, it's hard to really judge it. We need to see where we are at the end of the season. He's got to be patient with Ange. It's got to be a process. We've got to learn a lot from some of our rivals in and around us to be patient. But yeah, I think you've got to take a lot of this with a pinch of salt. Obviously, Levy has been scorned in the past and he's really trying to heal the football club and his reputation at the same time. So it's quite interesting. But let me know in the comments down below, what did you make of what Levy and everyone else had to say at the Tottenham fans forum? Obviously, really want to know all your opinions about Ange, about Kane, about the club, everything. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll be down in the comments to have a little debate and chat with all of you guys. And as I said at the top end of the video, if you are new to the channel, why don't you leave a like on the video, subscribe to Sonny Talks Spurs, and hit that notification bell to obviously be notified for every time I go live. And I've been Sonny Talks Spurs, and I'll see you again very soon, and ciao.